Now back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And, when the boss brings in your donuts from Gibson Donuts, wow. How can you eat and talk at the same time?
That's wow.
Right. Huh? That's a double wow.
I'm trying to talk and...
Well, you've got donut all over your microphone.
Right? Yeah, well, it'll be special for the next person that gets on it. Hey, look,
that's
you know
like
what?
finding out you have one more Gatorade in the cooler on a day like this.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's go.
You know what? I will tell you, it's been so exciting this morning talking about the Forest Wood Cup in Huntsville, Alabama, and we got a guy that knows a lot of what's going to go on there. Joe Opager, Director of Communications from FLW. Hey, Joe, what are the dates of the Forest Wood Cup tournament?
Hey, fellas. Well, tournament kicks off on Thursday, August 4th, runs all 4 days through August 7th, Sunday night. We'll be crowning our champion and awarding one lucky winner $300,000. All
right. Woo. And now, to go along there, not only do you have the tournament going on, but you've got the expo. You've got to weigh in. You got to launch. Tell all of our listeners where all that's taking place.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be just down the road from you in Huntsville, Alabama, like Ron and Larry mentioned earlier. In addition to the tournament, we've got the FLW Expo going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, each day before the weigh-in. This is going to be our biggest expo FLW has ever done. We've got more than 100 exhibitors coming out. More than 40 FLW sponsors are going to be there giving away freebies and goodies. It's going to be a chance to buy some of the latest and greatest tackle that we just started to see last week at ICAST. This is going to be the first opportunity to get some of those new baits and lures, so real excited for that. And then, in addition to that, we've got a Bass and Barbecue Festival going on outside.
Oh, yeah. Hey, am I a judge for that, or do I get a chance to go and try some of that barbecue?
He just wants to eat.
The thing is, all the portion of the proceeds are going to local charities there in the northern Alabama area.
So cool.
So you can donate.
Go around and sample some barbecue from each of the teams, and we'll award. We'll make a trophy. It'll be good.
Well, I can't wait.
Well, we Joe, I know that you're a busy man, and golly, this is busy time for you. And I was just looking on this before we go to our next guest here. Joe, you've been a part of this FLW for a pretty good while, haven't you?
Yeah, this is my 5th season with FLW, and so my 5th Forest Wood Cup, and, it just gets a little bigger, a little better every single year. It's a lot of fun.
Long way from St. Cloud State University, right?
Absolutely.
And from Omania.
Close. It's Onamia.
Onamia.
But, a little small town in central Minnesota. About 800 people in the town. I think my graduating class was 51, so small little town. But, here I am now working for Fishing League Worldwide and doing what I love. So I couldn't ask for a cooler gig.
Well, I think this next guest couldn't ask for a cooler gig for himself also because being from Shelby, North Carolina, and I know Ron has had a chance to watch this young man be a part of it. But and what's amazing story about this next guest, I think, is that he won the Forest Cup as a co-angler in 2006.
And that launched his career.
What a launching career.
Right. And I had the pleasure to fish with this gentleman.
Well, you introduced him.
At Wilson Lake here a couple of months ago. One fine gentleman. He's one of the Quaker State guys, I think, and he's with Lunker Hunt Lure Company, Matt Arey. Matt, good morning.
Hey, morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're really glad to have you in, Matt, in this lineup of stars, FLW, as they're getting ready for the Forest Wood Cup at Lake Wheeler, based out of Huntsville, Alabama, that first weekend in August. And I know to walk through our listeners, Matt, a little bit before Ron starts asking you technical questions about the tournament. But co-angler, tell our listeners a little bit how you got where you are today.
Well, as far as fishing, it's something I love to do since I could hold a fishing rod when I was 3 or 4 years old. I was fortunate enough to grow up on a small lake actually a small lake that Brian Thrift and myself both cut our teeth on fishing back in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, which is right next to where we live, about a 3,500-acre lake. And we grew up fishing there and started fishing local tournaments both when we were in our teens. And I got into some bass clubs when I was 15, 16, 17, and there was quite a few guys around the house that took me under their wing and kind of showed me the ropes. I've got an older brother and a younger brother, my dad, but nobody in my family really fishes at all. So Dad does a little saltwater fishing, but nobody else does any freshwater. So was lucky to have a few guys around the house that, like I said, showed me the ropes of tournament fishing, and I've always been a competitive kind of guy.
What was it like being to win that co-angler? Did that, as Ron said, launched your career? And maybe some of the listeners don't know what the co-angler is.
Yeah, the co-angler platform is something that FLW offers an opportunity to a lot of people to do, and it's it definitely did. It was a very major part of launching my career. But I did it in 2005 and 2006 and won the Cup in 2006 as a co-angler, and that did launch my career. I got to go out and fish with a lot of great pros, see a lot of different lakes that I'd never seen before. Got to meet a lot of really cool guys that had already been established and been fishing professionally for years. So I got to kind of see what it was all about, and then figured out that was definitely the path that I wanted to.
What'd you win? How much did you win for co-angler of the year in 2006?
In 2006, it was $25,000.
$25,000. Okay, that's a lot of money. But now, $300,000. Do you realize that would push you over $1 million in your career? Did you ever?
Absolutely. I try not to think about that too much. But the money's great. But we all want that cup. Just to be able to hold that cup up over your head and making the cup. Is something we strive to do year in and year out. That's our goal. And just to be there and have an opportunity is, I look forward to that every year. So. And
Ron will tell you, and Joe chip in on this, because being on that stage and holding up that cup, Joe, that's part of the drama at the weigh-in, isn't it? I mean, you guys have put it down to make it so dramatic.
I've said it since I started with the company. That moment is my absolute favorite part of the whole entire job.
Yeah.
Seeing that raw emotion on the stage of the guy realizing that it's over and he's accomplished, winning the tournament and getting that huge paycheck. And it's really a life-changing moment, pretty much every FLW Tour event. It's really cool to see and my favorite part of the job. And
so I know, Matt, have you dreamed about this, being on that stage and holding up that cup?
Absolutely. Like I said, this is our ultimate goal as professional anglers. It's the pinnacle of each and every season, and that's where we want to be at the end of it.
Hey, Matt, and to get on that stage, you've helped develop or create a swim bait.
Oh, really? All right.
What's
its name?
What part is that going to play?
Bait, now, yeah, we launched a new topwater bait, a hinge topwater bait called the Link this year at ICAST by Lunker Hunt.
Right.
But the swim bait's still in the works, so we won't discuss details of that thing.
Oh, come on. Now, you launched a new one now, but you got something in the works for us.
Larry just wants to name it.
I just want to name it. I just love the names, and I know, won't you just let, how old was your daughter, Reese?
Oh, she's 3. She's 3.5 now.
Oh, she can name it. Let her name it. I mean.
There you go. Now, there's no telling what it's going to end up being, but we'll let her have at
it. Hey, Matt, how does Wheeler set up for you?
That's what I was waiting for.
Wheeler is it's extremely diverse. To me, it's not your typical Tennessee river fishery.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely sets up a lot different. I have only been on Wheeler one time in my life, which is actually back in 2005, my first year as a co-angler. But in that tour event, we could lock. The pros could lock. I was a co-angler, and one day my pro locked the Gunnersville, and the next day my pro locked the Wilson. So I've actually never went. Unfortunately, I didn't get any time to pre-practice down there. Sometimes that can be a good thing, not going in with those preconceived notions. Right. But I've never actually wet a line in the lake. But it's definitely going to be There's going to be a lot of options. There's a lot of water.
But he's ridden the whole thing.
Yeah, he's ridden. Yeah. You've ridden the whole thing. He said there.
I've seen the entire lake. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, he has seen the entire lake.
Now, you've got 4 or 5 different kinds of patterns that's going to work on Wheeler. How does it play to any of your strengths?
Really, as far as my tournament success, a couple major wins that I've had, and And the majority of the cuts I've made have been springtime bills. My pre-spawn spawn, immediate post-spawn is more my strength. So, I'll be the first to admit that. But at the same time, like with being so diverse, it offers a lot of different opportunities. There'll be some schooling fish that are in play. There'll be some big fish that are in play, and there'll be some shallow fish that are in play.
Right.
And then, you've got the Guntersville Dam and things like that could potentially be a factor. So there are a lot of options, and if you could pick your poison, it could play into my hands a little bit more. It just depends on how it plays out during practice and throughout the tournament. Because that time of year, it's always a grind. It's always, it's one of those deals where you got 25 rods on the deck and you might catch a fish on 13 of them. So,
right.
We'll see. There's a lot of guys that can continue to do well in the Cup, and my roommate Jacob Wheeler, he's always done really well, and that plays right into his hands. That's one of his strengths, hands down, is covering water and doing it fast but efficiently.
As a matter of fact, we just had Jacob on right before you.
Yeah, we just talked to Jacob. And
poor guys.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to understand his northern accent, up there and everything. But I know we're talking to Matt Arey out of Shelby, North Carolina, and I got to ask you, you're one of those guys that has a sideline. You are a guide, right?
I do some, yeah. I did a lot more, and then the more I started fishing,
there you go. Yeah, but
full time, I cut back on it a little bit.
That adds a little bit, I think, to your expertise in your ability and as being a guide, because you've dealt with all sorts of weather conditions and different people in the boat and different things that you can try. And Ron is not a guide, but he likes to guide people, in what they do.
Matt, if somebody wanted to go fishing with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can, I used to have a website. I don't advertise anymore, but they can shoot me a message on Facebook, Instagram, any of my social media outlets.
He's got them.
He's Matt Arey Fishing.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Matt.
We'll see you at the Cup. All the best to you from Outdoors with Larry Ray.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later and go after him, okay?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right, let's take a break. Joe, hanging on, Joe. You still hanging on up there, aren't you, Joe?
Yep.
No,
Okay, hang on.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, we'll be right back. We're going to try to hook up with Wesley Strader, right?
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can get Wesley on to...
Yeah, we can get Wesley on.
Because he can talk fishing for good. I know.
You think?
I think he
will. And
will.
he's from Tennessee.
And he is another from Tennessee, so we'll let Bill Cooksey take over and ask him all.
We'll talk about Jones.
Yeah, here we go.
Should the boys have taken the Florida Bay?
Oh, my goodness. All right, Greg Ratliff, take us out of here. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry